I just really want to take a deep dive into where we are when it comes down to getting into the workforce, being able to apply for some of those larger types of roles, being able to figure out, okay, is this my first time getting into a new role? Is this something where I want to advance my career? Or, hey, what are the things that I need to do? And in today's age, everything is wrapped around technology. And what I want to have a conversation with you about today is where's the intersectionality where technology influences what we want to do as a candidate, whether you're entry level or you're at a mid-level careerist, or you're someone that are looking for some of those larger leadership roles, or just working at the enterprise level, or who knows, it could be C-suite, right? And so in that regard, something that when I'm traveling around and I'm doing speaking engagements and I'm speaking to schools, or whether I'm just speaking to peers or I'm speaking to other different people in industry that are saying like, hey, look, I want to take on a new role. I'm actively looking for positions. In today's time, everybody knows the climate, the politics of the thing has taken shape to really impact where the market is right now. So when you start talking about, the state of the workforce, or, people on the other side of it, which is doing workforce development, but you as a person that is trying to get into a new opportunity, a few tools you got to consider. I ask the same question when I'm speaking to anybody. First thing I ask is, are you using LinkedIn? Or do you know what LinkedIn is? And I'd say 2-3 weeks ago, I had the honor of speaking at a school, and about 60% of the people did not raise their hand. 40% raised their hand and said, hey, I have a LinkedIn. 20% of those raised their hand and said, hey, listen, I have LinkedIn, don't really use it, it's kind of on the back burner. And I think people don't realize when we are hiring for new roles, first thing we do is look at your LinkedIn. What does your professional profile look like? How are you presenting yourself just to the greater economy? How are you looking as a professional? Because in today's age, there's no longer a look at a person as, just some background worker. You're just gonna get in there, kind of set it and forget it, kind of hide in the background, do what you need to do. At this point now, every person that is moving represents your company. So in that regard, it's kind of like, when people are giving tips about when you're going to interviews, if you get lucky enough to be able to just sit down and speak for yourself about, what you bring for value, you're going to be looked at before you get there to say, hey, what is this person's brand? What type of entity are you? Are you, if you say you're a developer, are you sharing, what you're doing from, different types of programs that you're working on? Are you going to different functions? Are you actively working with different groups? Are you actively going to conferences? Every job doesn't necessarily need you to go to conferences. However, it's great to kind of see, okay, what type of person do we have, right? Other piece is people looking at your social media. So this is not going to go into like the personal social media piece, but word to the wise, your social media has to be pretty clean. I get it. It's your personal one. It's your personal brand. But if your information is out there in the public, then, your role in that company could be attached to some of the things that you're doing out there. And so they do not want any backlash, and have people kind of reaching out saying, hey, here's this person that's out there in the world representing your company. However, you're in your personal capacity, but you know what? You're always representing whatever company that you are attached to. So when it comes down to tools, when it comes down to things in the tech space, I say number one, you have to have a robust LinkedIn profile. You need to be able to take that LinkedIn serious, because in that regard, it has so much power that you can control when it comes down to controlling your image, being able to understand your brand, being able to connect amongst industry peers, industry partners, being able to connect to other companies, being able to reach out to a lot of those hiring managers as well as those recruiters, and just really establishing relationships. And when you kind of do that organically, when you kind of be able to kind of get on their radars and allow them to see, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing not only for myself, here's what I was doing for my last organization, but here's the things that I'm interested in. When it's time to get an opportunity, a lot of the times they may reach out to you first. They also, they'll be so caught up in what you're doing until it's not really, an interview. It's more of a conversation, right? And it's more of a validating, hey, what they already see, what they already know about you. And you don't go from such a cold start to more of a warm start. And so for me, I think LinkedIn is paramount to making sure that in today's technologically advanced society, it doesn't matter what vertical you're in. Every company leverages SaaS products to not only validate who you are, but to just be able to scrub, if you are who you say you are at work as well as outside of work. And also, when you start looking at it, it's just a great tool to just, take advantage from both sides. So LinkedIn, paramount. Gotta leverage as much as you can, and you'll be better for it. Next tool, if you are in the developer space, if you are a person that says, hey, from a project management or product management or things like that, not saying that everybody has to be super technical, but in today's time, everybody at every level of the DevOps cycle or every level of just being in the tech space, we want to know, hey, do you know what GitHub is? If you're a developer, you absolutely need to know what GitHub is. For me, when I've sat on a couple hiring boards as well as hired internally to our company at CVG, I'm telling you, that's question number 2, straight out the gate. Hey, what are you working on? And they're like, oh, well, I was working on this in school, or I was working on this here. And I'm going to tell you, for me, next question follow up with that is, do you have a GitHub? And a lot of times, more often than not, even developers are like, yeah, I kind of had one. I don't really use it that much. And then every now and again, you have a candidate that'll say, oh yeah, I have a GitHub. I've got some stuff in private that I don't want to share, but I do have some public things I've been working on. And yeah, I would love to kind of like share some of the tool sets or walk you through what I was doing. That part is not a gotcha moment. That part is just understanding, like, are you a person that you do this for a living, or are you a person that, this is what you do. This is who you are. This is a part of the fabric that makes you the engineer or the developer or whatever that role is that you are. And for me, it shows me a lot of the times, hey, can I afford not to hire this person? Because, this person has amazing things that they're interested in, and maybe it may pair with some things that we want to do from an R&D standpoint. And it's just a great nugget that where you may not have actual job references, or you may not have some, a long work history, you can show, hey, listen, in these gaps where I wasn't hired, or when I wasn't, in an actual official role, I took it upon myself to leverage these GitHub projects. And here's where I was, and I've created maybe 1 or 2 MVPs, and I'm also doing some testing on the back end. And I'm telling you, it is very impressive when you're able to see a candidate be able to kind of speak to, hey, no one had to tell me what to do. I looked at industry, I looked at some things that I was passionate about, I paired the two and decided to go down this road of this project. No matter what, could be an AI project, could be a blockchain project, does not matter, something that you're doing in some form of development. And I think people are missing that in the space, because if you're a lifelong learner, then the practical piece in GitHub, which has thousands, almost millions of repositories, especially people that are looking to share different products and a lot of open source products, to just say, hey, look, you know what? I'm in this community of not only, the technology community, but more so a lot of the development community, AI community, whatever, what have you, even quantum. It gives you first opportunity to be able to do a knowledge share. And I think that's a great opportunity for you when you're out in the workforce to be able to kind of show, hey, I've taken the initiative to leverage this product. So we've got 2 things. We've got LinkedIn and we've got a GitHub. And the next one I would say, when it comes down to tool sets, this is one that I think people don't really take advantage of as well from a technology standpoint. I've seen people create their own websites, which is technically a resume, which is super cool, which when they create that website, and not saying that your job needs it, it's just, I thought it was cool. I don't think, I think it's a nice to have. It's not a need. But when I did see a person create a website, was able to show that they had the website connected to other tool sets, their GitHub, and kind of tell about themselves and show some of their work and just really like shape it to where it's like a one-stop shop for a person to kind of understand, here's my body of work, here's some of the things that, you know, is releasable that I can show you that I worked on. And, you know, you never know, you might not only get, you know, a new role, but hell, you might get, you know, contracted out to do something else. And so when you start looking at that as a tool, I think it's a very great opportunity to just really like flex your muscle. Another thing that I think people are missing when it comes down to tool sets to use when you're looking for jobs, leveraged AI. There's a great way to be able to take any large language model, you know, being able to leverage ChatGPT or leverage ChatGPT, leverage whether it's Grok or you leveraging Genesis or you're leveraging Copilot. I think, you know, if you're already leveraging like 365, that Copilot environment pretty much has a lot of your information already teed up. And so I would definitely move in those environments and just say, hey, here's a new role that I'm looking at applying for. Here's what I want to do in that role. Here's where I qualify. Here's some of the things that I have done. Can we take from what this job description is asking versus where I'm at? Kind of do like a measure of a backwards planning to say, hey, how far am I to being fully qualified? And also give me a roadmap for any gaps that I may have in not only experience, but gaps in skill set. And I think leveraging a large language model as a tool set is paramount in today's age. Lastly, I would also say do some research on the connections between the hiring managers and who's going to be in those companies. I would leverage like a Perplexity, and you know, being able to, if you find a name through LinkedIn and all that good stuff, I would literally leverage Perplexity, to be able to kind of help shape who I'm going into the room with, and being able to kind of understand, you know, not only their background, but, you know, maybe be able to get better understanding about where the company's going and what it's trying to do, and figure out in a you know, a better form of words, just where's that company going, and what do they need me for in that role. And when you start looking at that from a tool set, you know, when we break it down, make sure you have a LinkedIn, you know, make sure that you have some form of a GitHub, make sure that you understand how to use a large language model. And, you know, the bonus one was, you know, maybe creating that website. And so for me, when you start looking at the culmination of putting those things together from a tool set to not only do your research, but also help you kind of bounce ideas between you and the AI, I think you'll be in a better position to be able to apply for those roles, but also be able to land a great interview and being able to just make it more of a conversation and just own the space, own the room, and have a healthy exchange. And, you know, it'll really raise your percentage of the possibility of being able to land that role. And, you know, right now, something that we absolutely have to be able to understand is roles right now when you're going on LinkedIn, roles right now when you're going on Indeed. Some people may, you know, have clearance jobs. These jobs are getting about 1,000 applicants within the first hour, you know, 100 applicants within the first, you know, 30 minutes. And I'm telling you, there's such a large volume that you really need to leverage a lot of these different tool sets. You need to be able to leverage, you know, some of the large language models to be able to search and be able to understand, hey, what does this job want to see? And, you know, also just gauge, hey, here's my resume. Here's what they're asking for. Here's my resume. Give me a synopsis on if I qualify. Give me a synopsis on what's needed to make my application a little bit stronger, and I think we'll be better for it. So that's a quick topic, quick nugget. Just really want to get in front of you to just let you kind of understand, hey, technology is all around us. Technology is in everything that we do. And there are tools, there are SaaS products out there that can kind of help us with our end goals in that space. This is a little nugget on Workforce and how to be able to land a better opportunity. Good luck out there. Stay tuned. This is Neuro Futures.